Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my 17th podcast. Today is Monday the 13th of September. Hope you are all well. Thank you for joining me. If you're new or if you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate your coming back to watch me. Last month, I think it was August. I did it in August. Last month I was chatting about a project bag I'd made, and I was struggling with my words, as I often do. And Ruth, thank you in the messages for reminding me it was the dodgy bag. Mal. In it's so annoying. I don't know if anyone else is finding this with menopause symptoms, but my brain is just really rubbish. I can be looking at something in front of me and I still can't say what the word is. So yeah, bear with me. So this is my podcast, not about the menopause. It is about my knitting and my crochet and my beginner sewing journey. But I'll be mainly talking about my knitting and crochet today. And sometimes I talk about books I've been reading and podcasts I've been watching. So yeah, let's get on with the podcast. So first of all, I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is, and I should have checked this before, but I've got a funny feeling this is a mixture. The bodice is the Lotta bodice from the Lotta dress from Tilly and the Buttons, and it is a grown on sleeves. I'll stand up in a minute. And then the skirt, I've got a funny feeling it's either the Hinterland or the Indigo. Let me just check on my Instagram, because I tend to write there what so it is, yes, the Lotta and the Hinterland. That's a good guess. I'll stand up and show you. I really love this. It's such, this is exactly the kind of dress shape I'm looking for. A nice bodice. There aren't any darts in it, but it feels fitted enough. The waistline, I like to be above my waistline, because when it's here, I think it makes me look like I've got a long body when I haven't really. So yeah, I think it's a bit more flattering having the waist a bit higher. Gathered skirt, inseam pockets. And it's in this lovely Rose and Hubble flower print. Really pretty. And what I did, I used the Rose and Hubble selvage just to turn under, just to give a neat edge, but to have that little feature. And the Hinterland dress you create your own bias binding, so I've done that as well. So all in all, I absolutely love this dress. I love the fit of it. It's a little bit too short, and I do tend to wear it with leggings. I don't know if anyone else has found this. Whatever material I'm using, once I put leggings on, or even those, I wear those, I'm going to call them chub rub shorts, but you know what I mean, just like cycling shorts, but they're sort of in tights material to stop my legs rubbing, and anything like that, all the fabric just sticks. So I'm thinking I probably need to get a tiny little petticoat. It's been years since I've worn a petticoat, but I'm sure Marks and Spencer's probably sell those, either little waist ones rather than an all-in-one petticoat, just to get a little slip, just to stop my dresses sticking. But no, I'm really, really pleased with this make. It's lovely. And it's lovely. You can probably hear it's quite crisp, nice cotton. Actually, I haven't got the book. Normally I would have the book with all where I got the fabric from, but I will link it down below. I link everything down below, even links to patterns on Ravelry. So if you don't like Ravelry or can't use Ravelry, be aware of that. But I do try and put links for every single thing I talk about if you want to purchase them or look at them, or yeah, just so you're aware. So that's what I'm wearing. Today I've finished lots of things, so it feels really good, and I haven't really got much on the go, so I'm really excited about starting lots of new things as well. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a finished garment, and it's my Sunday Funday Cardi. I've talked about this quite a lot because I I've been slow to finish because I ran out of yarn, and Alyssa from America kindly found some, sent it to me. I've talked about that quite a lot, I won't tell you again, but thank you, Alyssa. I don't know what I would have done without you. So yeah, this is the Sunday Funday Cardi by Iron Lamb. It's a crochet cardigan. It is beautiful. I made one in green as well. I've used the Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran, and it's in an Aran weight, and I absolutely love this. Is my favourite stitch, the back post treble in UK terms. I'm going to put it on. Now this is shorter sleeve than my previous one, and I think I probably prefer a longer sleeved version, but I washed and blocked this yesterday, and again it just feels a bit bigger around the bust. Not that there's any buttons, and it's quite nice just to have like that. I'll stand up again and show you. I think I mentioned last time with dresses I probably should have made it a bit shorter so it sits nicer on the waist, but that's fine. So yeah, I think ideally I would have longer sleeves. I know lots of people like 3/4, but and I suppose it's quite handy that, you don't, with washing hands and washing up and stuff. But for me, I'm constantly feeling like I want to pull it down a bit longer. I made this in because I've made two. I sort of made two in different sizes. Let me just remind myself which. I think this was the first. No, so the first Sunday Funday I made in a size 14, and then I just felt, it fitted, but I just felt like I wanted a bit more room, or a bit more fabric across the bust. So I made this in a size 16. Just see if I've written anything else. No, I haven't written any other things, but I would highly recommend this pattern. It's such a lovely make. It's really straightforward and easy. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. Very soft Cashmerino Aran. I think there is a percentage of acrylic in this, and I did put it in the washing machine on a wool cycle. That's good. And and most of the dresses I've made are navy, so it's going to go with everything navy. It's very warm because it's Aran weight. So yeah, really pleased with that. This is just such a nice stretchy detail. For those that don't crochet and just think it's about granny squares, I mean the different textures you can get with different crochet stitches, almost to make it similar to knitted, with the rib effect. It's just perfect. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that pattern. I then last time was showing you some socks I'd been making, and I was making them out of this crazy zauberball yarn. I was trying to describe this yarn on my last podcast, and I was describing it as twisted, but I watched a fantastic podcast by Emma Potter and Bloom, and she describes this as barber pole, which it is, isn't it? It's got that barber pole effect. Yeah, so because it was in a big ball like this, I could see that there were big chunks of stripes. I just didn't unravel it to find a pattern repeat. I just started knitting. And these are the finished socks. Now I started off with this one and then carried the yarn on from there, and you can see there is no pattern repeat. So I don't think you would ever get matched socks, but that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. So I'll just hold up one. I've done 1 by 1 twisted rib for the cuff. I've followed the vanilla latte sock pattern for this nice broken, do you call that broken rib? When you've got some knits and pearls. I used the Peter socks by Kay Jones for the heel turn and the gusset. Then went back to the vanilla latte, and again use the Peter toe. I really like Kay Jones patterns. She's a real perfectionist about getting details right. I love her toe. I've got quite a wide area here because I've got bunions. That's another thing about getting older. I've had them for a long time, but so this is just a really nice shape for me. It's nice and wide at the bunion part. Yeah, it's a really nice, neat heel. Looks like a square heel, doesn't it, that one? I'm really happy with this yarn. I blocked it just in wool wash in the sink, or washed it rather, and then blocked it. Really nice. Does it say what it is? 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide. Yeah, so virgin wool and nylon. Sorry, it's in German and in English. I was just struggling to understand that then, sorry. So I think I've got about 45 grams left, so I could make another pair just a little bit shorter. And I think I might have mentioned last time, my friend had her eye on one of these, so I think I might just send her these in the post. She will appreciate a pair of hand knit socks. So yeah, they're lovely. But definitely no pattern repeat. You know, I keep trying to work it out if there is, but there's not. You know, this bright pink, there isn't any of that bright pink in that sock. And like I say, that bit matches, but it hasn't got the same colour either side. So yeah, if you don't mind non-matchy socks, then yeah, I would really recommend that yarn. Really lovely. So, pair of socks finished. Let me have a slurp of tea. Now, for a long time, I've been mentioning a vintage jumper or sweater that I've been making. I spoke quite a few podcasts ago about the yarn that I bought for it, and it's from Travel Knitter. It's Travel Knitter yarn. It's 100% extra fine merino. It's a DK weight in the Pirates Bay colourway. And it's really lovely. I don't know if you can really tell from that. Let me use this one as well, a small one. There are lots of different tones and flecks of the blue. And I think I'd bought some yarn and then knew that I wasn't going to have enough, and so bought some more from Larissa from Travel Knitter, and she was worried that they wouldn't be the same colour, but I always alternate my my yarns anyway, and I honestly can't tell. There's no difference. It's lovely. Now the pattern was a free pattern from Rosery Apparel. So I've mentioned her before. I watch I watch all of her podcasts and videos and tutorials, and she had found this vintage pattern which she then got permission to be able to pass on. So I think if you join her newsletter, you can access it that way. It's just one page. There's minimal instructions, so I was a little bit worried about, but in fact it's absolutely fine. But it is a jumper made in parts, which I had never made before. I'm going to show you now. I think they're all the little bits and bobs I needed to tell you. Yeah, I think the main concern was that the wool might not match together, and I might not ever be able to join this jumper together, but I have. So this is the sweater. It looks really funny. I'm going to hold it up because it's quite cropped. So it's a cropped sweater with really balloony sleeves. I'm sure there's a term for that, which I can't remember. Lacy. Oh, it's really lovely. So you knit the front, you knit the back, you knit the sleeves, you pick up stitches to make the neck, and then you join in parts, which I found some decent tutorials to teach me how to do that. I think what I did was, let me just remind myself. So I used back stitch tutorial to join at the shoulders. And again, I found a YouTube tutorial and I did that inside out. And then I put it the right way and did mattress stitch to attach the sleeves around the armhole, and then to join the sleeves and then the side parts. Oh God, that took absolutely ages. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking I'm never going to make a jumper like this again. I'd rather just do a top-down jumper. But in fact, I'm over the moon with the fit. Being a vintage jumper, there weren't many sizes, and I just went for the biggest size that they had. I did knit it on bigger needles than suggested, which I tend to always do. And it has worked out fine, apart from when I started making my sleeve, because it's quite big, I ended up going down to the size needle that I did for the cuff. So the whole body, the body is knit in a 5.5mm hook, but the ribbing for the neck and the cuff, and actually the whole sleeves, I did in a 4.5, I think. I'm looking at the wrong bit. Yeah, 4.5 for the sleeves and cuffs. There's so many, in my little booklet, so many pages of every single row. And I changed my mind. It's a 5mm hook for the body and a 4.5 for the sleeves and rib. And I made it in the size 42 inches for the bust, but I am bigger than that, and this is, it's not really fitted. I shall put it on and then I'll show you. Oh, the yarn is absolutely beautiful. If anyone has never used Travel Knitter yarn, she's based in London. She normally would attend all the yarn festivals, and I think she started attending them now, but her yarn is just gorgeous. Let me just get this on right. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the fit. The neck is nice, it's at a right length. In fact, I think for the neck, they suggest that you turn it over, but I liked it like it was. That's fine. Look at those pretty, oh, the pattern is so lovely. I did use stitch markers and it didn't suggest them, but I just thought I need to keep an eye on my pattern, especially when you started to do decreases. You have to keep the pattern in order, and once you start decreasing, you never know whereabouts you are. So yeah, use of stitch markers was invaluable. And look, you can see there it is much bigger than my arm, but I think that is a look. Not that I'm very fashionable, but yeah, the coming in tight at the cuff but being a bit loose. I'm going to stand up to show you where it fits on my waist with a dress. So it sort of fits right on, yeah, just sort of above my waist. Let me turn around so you can see the back. I hope you can see the colours and the lace detail. I'm over the moon. I feel like I've bought a jumper that looks like it's from a shop. Oh, what do you think? Nice deep rib there as well. I love that. You can really see the different colours. Yeah, do you think that's a flattering length? I have still got, so where I had to buy extra because I was worried I was going to run out, in the end I think I had 5 skeins of yarn, and I've still got, I think it's just, might even be about 70 grams left. In fact, you can see there where they look a little bit different colour, you know, that's a bit brighter blue and that's a bit more muted, but in the jumper you would never know, it all just blends in together. I would definitely recommend mixing your yarns. What I tended to do, the pattern is you knit in the pattern and then on the back you purl, and so I used to just do that, do 2 rows, and once I finished my purl row I would then pick up the yarn again for another ball. So you've always got 2 yarns hanging down, and doing 2 little rows doesn't create, you know, a big bit of yarn, you know, like a ladder or anything. So yeah, that is how I do my changing of yarns. Oh, I wish you could really see, I just don't think you can really appreciate the blue. Oh yeah, there you can. See there, it's some really bright bits. It is really lovely. I'm over the moon. So yeah, check out that pattern on Rosery Apparel. Check out Travel Knitter Larissa. Her yarn is always beautiful. It's always very rich. Yeah, her colours are gorgeous, but this yarn being 100% extra fine merino, it does say it's superwash. I didn't, well, I haven't blocked it yet. But being superwash, I presume that means, yeah, it does say cool hand wash or machine wash, which is handy, but I haven't blocked it at all. So maybe if I block it, but where it's lacy, it's quite stretchy, and I don't want it to get too long. You know, it's nice how it is. I've ruined jumpers before by putting them in the machine. Yeah, it's lovely. So I feel so lucky to have the jumper and a couple of cardigans all ready for autumn and winter. Oh, yeah, I feel like I want to keep showing you it because the pattern is so lovely. Oh, it's lovely. I'm really proud of that. I walked in my daughter's room and she said, oh, can I try it on? And even though she's much smaller than me, it still fitted her and looked nice. Yeah, you can't, I don't think I can, I'll keep showing you because you just can't see the all those different pops, I don't think, very well. But trust me, it is amazing. Amazing yarn. So because I had all of this left, I kept thinking, do I make the length longer? But I think I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And I'll just have to put this in another project. So yeah, beautiful yarn, beautiful pattern. But I don't think I want to make a jumper in parts again. Right, another sip of tea. Yes, so the next thing, I think I did talk about this last time, I was going to start the Charlotte's Universe crochet blanket by Dedry, I can't pronounce her surname, Barberton Daisy. And I have started it. And it's a free pattern. There are tons of very clear written instructions if you follow the link on her Instagram, but there is amazing YouTube tutorials. Now let me just see if I've written that down. If not, I'll tell you. No, I haven't. So every Sunday a part of the pattern is released, and it will be the written instructions as well as the YouTube tutorial. Yeah, she's called on YouTube, so it's not Dedry, it's somebody else who's working in partnership with Dedry. It's called It's All in a Nutshell Crochet. And in fact, she has got tons of videos from, I think, the Sophie's Universe and other Dedry's crochet patterns. And I've literally made this blanket, not reading the pattern at all, just listening and watching the YouTube tutorial. I'll show you. So I have now finished part 7, and on Sunday, so it's Monday today, so yesterday they just released part 9, so I'm 1 week behind, mainly because I was focusing on my jumper. I really wanted to get that finished for today. And there tends to be, well, it's all different, every part has so many rows, but it's different each time, but it's manageable. You can get it done in a week. And so I'm using just yarn I had at home, Stylecraft Special DK, some Women's Institute, and some Bonus I think I've used, all DK weight. Oh, this is so lovely. I might stand and show you it actually. Oh, look at that. I'll let you look at it close up. It's lovely. So it is big now. It's a square. I don't know actually how many parts there are in it. It's going to be a decent size. Oh, it's so nice. Look at these. These bobbles are lovely. And these popcorns, oh, there are some lovely stitches. Do not be put off if you've never done them before. I've never done this before. That took ages, that row, but the instructions are so clear. And that is what I love about patterns like this. I've done a pattern like this before. I'll show you that in a minute, but just to show you these bobbles. Oh, it's so squishy. And even that centre bit, it's described in US terms. This lacy bit, so clever, such a clever design. So yeah, the previous pattern that I've made, similar, as in it's not just, you know, you granny going round and round, there's lots of different techniques which you can learn along the way, was the Atlanticus blanket, and that was by Hooked by Sunshine. Again, I'll link it down below. Again, this is another free pattern. It is amazing. I can't believe these designers are releasing this for free. I mean, you know, people make this all over the world, and to not even charge £1, or, you know, it's amazing. And also the time and effort that goes into writing it up, drawing pictures, or not drawing, taking picture tutorials, and yeah, it's just amazing. So these, I love the colour green, but again, this was just using all my scrappy Stylecraft, well, not scrappy, at one point I had, I think, every single colour of Stylecraft. I wanted to almost like have a shop of Stylecraft yarn that I could just dip into. So I always had lots of Stylecraft. But just to show you this, again, it's similar, as in it starts off as a circle, but has just very various techniques. You can't really tell here because it's not all just flat crochet. There's a lot of texture. Actually, I'm showing it back to front. That's why you can't see the texture. How silly. Yeah, so there's lots of sort of back post trebles or double trebles, so it sort of raises little bits up. Yeah, so this was a real labour of love, but to get this massive blanket, what an achievement. Yeah, do you get the gist? So there, it's really lovely to have a big blanket like that to pull out, but also it really increases your confidence as a crocheter, because you will do stitches you've never even heard of, but once they're described, it's like, oh, that creates that. It's just amazing. So I would highly recommend Charlotte's Universe. I always wanted to make Sophie's, but like I say, she's got lots of patterns out, and the fact that there are tutorials and free, you know, videos and that out there, I would, yeah, really recommend it. But this is really, really lovely. So I'm going to finish, try and catch up now that I've finished my jumper. How long have I been talking? 28. Okay, so once I'd once I'd joined that sweater together, I was really eager to cast on one of my, I think it's called six bucket list projects for 2021. I don't know if I'm going to get all 6 done, because when I was looking back, the choices I made were all big things like jumpers, cardigan, yeah, all jumpers and blankets. So I will just work my way through them. But one of the ones I really wanted to make was the Featherweight Cardi by Hannah Fettig. And I wanted to make this because Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful had made one, and I went and looked it up, and I thought, oh, that is perfect. A perfect, easy, you know, lightweight cardigan. So I started last night. I've got it in this bag. I just wanted to show you because I wondered if anyone else went to this. A few years ago, I went to Yarn in the City, and it was a fifth annual event. And it's described as a London yarn crawl, like a pub crawl, and it was so fantastic. You buy a ticket, you get put in a group, you pick your route, so each group has a different route, and depending if you want to look more at wool shops or fabric shops or a mixture of the two, and you go around with your group on the train or on the bus, and then you ended up at an amazing place in Westminster for a huge talk, and there was like a yarn festival there, and there was a talk by, I can't remember her name, but she's a famous designer. Oh, it was just lovely I didn't go with anyone I knew, so it was just lovely just to be with people. So if ever they do that again, I would highly recommend the Yarn in the City yarn crawl. Great London yarn crawl. It's amazing. So yeah, this is like one of the little freebies. So yeah, I'm making the Featherweight Cardi. I'll just get it out because I've started. So I'm making a grey one, and I'm using this lovely, this is called Slubby 4-ply, and it's superwash merino viscose net, and it's machine washable. So it's charcoal with these little nappy bits, and I have used this before. It's from the brand Ainsworth and Prin, who are the knitting shed, and the yarn is lovely. I made, what was it called? See what I mean? Floozy. I made the Floozy cardigan in a navy one. So I've got 3 skeins of this. Now when I looked it up, I am making the 5th size. Let's go to my little book again. And it's for a finished size 45¼ inch bust. So it won't be super big, but it will fit. And I've seen Ali's, and again, hers doesn't come to the centre, you know, it just sort of sits halfway. And it's suggested I'd need 4 skeins of yarn. Well, I already had 3 skeins of this, and then I had some leftovers, a little bit of Cascade 220 in the, again, like a charcoal grey, and also when I ordered this, they sent me a little grey slubby mini. So in total, I've got 300 grams of the skeins, and then these little bits, I think it's about, I've got 23, 33, about 40 grams of these little minis. So I'm 50 grams short, so I will just see how I go, and I think what I'll do some yarn management on the sleeves, and also check on the length as well. Now that I know I've got a couple of things I've made and I know the length that I quite like, yeah, I'll do that. So I'm sure I can get it out of that. So I've made a start. I'm knitting mine, again it's suggested 4mm needles, but I've just gone up a little bit, 4.5, and this is it so far. It feels really funny after making Aran and then DK, it feels very fine, but it's a nice loose gauge with the 4.5. So I've started off with the Cascade and then the little mini, and I've just introduced that. So I'm just going to do that for a little bit. Just I think the minis will take me up to the part where I separate from the sleeves, if not a little bit before. And I don't know if you can really see this, but there are some sort of different colours. Can't really tell. There's little brown bits in there. It's not just grey, dark grey, but there's some cream, stone, brown, and same in here. There's even a little red bit in there I've just noticed. So yeah, so this is the back part, and then you pick up stitches and add the collar and the ribbon afterwards. So this is just creating at the moment the little raglan. You can't really see it, well, maybe you can there, little raglan increases. So at the minute the front part is very skinny. I don't know how, I don't think it'll get very big. Yeah, you can't really see, can you? I don't know if it's just this room, it's too bright, but I can't pick up those little browny nep bits. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. And in fact, I did some last night and then I did some this morning. So I'm really enjoying it. And when I said to you about the joining my yarns, so I've just used that yarn, and when I start the next row, I'll just keep that out of the way and then lift up the next one that I want to do. So you just have to make sure you're not pulling it too tight, you know, curling it up a bit, but that's how. So all my yarns that I'm using are just on the edge, and I just pick it up each time I need to, every second row. Yeah, so I'm really pleased to have started that. Oh, a bit hot now. I've shut the doors because it's a bit noisy, and the trains go by and they're really noisy, and we keep getting loads of blackbirds fighting in the garden, but they're not here at the moment. I'm a bit hot. Now, a few weeks ago, I saw that a friend on Instagram and in person, her name is Helen from Woolly Chic, she was advertising a little crochet party, and she holds a lot of her teaching and events at a beautiful place near me called the Lavender Fields, and it is a lavender field, and then there's like a building where you can go in and have events. And so it was lovely. It was such a lovely morning. So I went with my sister, and funnily we bumped into people we knew, and we just sat around a table doing crochet, chatting, having tea, having cake. It was lovely. So yeah, check out Helen on Woolly Chic. She, if you are local to me, she does loads of she's a crochet teacher but does lots of events. She's also has a shop as well and sells beautiful yarn, and I've spoke about her yarn quite a few times on here, where I've made and tested things for Helen. Yeah, so I don't know if you remember me talking about her heart spun yarn. That is just such beautiful yarn, eco-friendly, and yeah, really lovely. So check out Helen, and again I'll link her down below. But why I was mentioning it as well is that she had her little shop there, and I went and bought some yarn, and I was literally drawn to this. I've never used this before. Katia, it's cotton. I've never used cotton before. So 100% organic cotton. And she had some items of clothing, like she had some crocheted vests hanging up, you know, like sleeveless. And see how there's all different colours in here. I think this centre bit, the peach, it's the biggest part. So I was trying to think, oh, what can I make where it ends up with one big chunk of colour? And what I thought I would do, oh, it's so lovely, isn't it? It is quite autumnal, but it's also pastel as well. I want to take this off, but I don't want to lose the... Oh, there you go, look. Oh, it's lovely. So lots of peaches, greens and purples. That's really nice, isn't it? It's nice and squidgy. I don't know what the weight is, does it say? It doesn't say. It says you use a 3mm needle, or hook rather. Usually it is right here in front of me, and I'm often holding this up and you can see what weight it is, but I can't see it on here. Anyway, so what I've decided I'm going to make with this is the lovely Just Feel Better shawl by Kalisha, the Quirky Monday podcast. I've made one of her shawls before. Again, it's a free pattern. I'd highly recommend that as well. It's such a beautiful shawl that just gets bigger and bigger in a lovely shape, but it's such a lovely rhythmical, just the stitches that you're doing. It's a really, it does what it says on the tin. It's a Just Feel Better shawl. It'll really make you feel nice when you're making it. And what I thought was, because there's this big chunk of peach, by the time you get to the end, it won't hopefully feel like a big chunk, because it will be at the widest part of the shawl. So yeah, I think I'll be starting that fairly soon. Can I get it back in? So yeah, I'll be really interested to see what it's like crocheting with cotton. It feels lovely and soft. Yeah, and I can't wait to see these colours emerge. Yeah, so that's the only purchase I've bought recently. And the last thing I wanted to chat about was a book that I've recently read. Now, a while ago, and any of you that follow Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful and her other channel, This Little Wonderful Life, with her family, they often talk about books. And she did a podcast with her children where each of them described books that they'd really recommend. And her eldest daughter, who's similar age to my daughter, recommended this book, One of Us is Lying, by Karen M. McManus. Isn't it a lovely book with the red? As a teenager, I would have been really drawn to this myself. Anyway, my daughter bought this because I'd said, oh, it's really recommended, and she absolutely loved it. And she kept wanting to talk to me about it, but then said, no, I don't want to tell you, I want you to read it. So she read it and she was just speechless at the end and just said, I can't talk about it, I need you to read it right now so that we can chat. So I read it, and I read it within a few days, and it's fantastic. And even though it's aimed at the teen age group, it's really appropriate for adults as well. It's not, it's just really good. And when I first started reading it, I thought, this just reminds me of The Breakfast Club. So anyone from the 80s, who watched all those films from America, I absolutely love The Breakfast Club, where 4 kids are in detention, all very different. It's described here as a geek, a jock, a criminal and a princess. And then there's a murder. So all the way through, you're just thinking, who it is. And it's just amazing. You cannot guess what's going to happen. And there's a sequel after this as well, called One of Us is Next, and my daughter's got that. So yeah, for me, it was not only was it a really enjoyable book, but it was really interesting to read something that my daughter had just read, and then we could discuss and couldn't stop talking about. And I think it's going to be a series, but only in America. I don't know whether we'll be able to see it. And I've checked out Karen M. McManus on Instagram, and there's a little video image where she talks about all her books, and she's writing a third book in this trilogy, which won't be released probably till next year. So yeah, that's another book I'd highly recommend. Really good, really lovely, a little bit of romance. It's really nice, but yeah, really interesting. So I think that's it. Lots of finished things, starting new things, and hopefully next time, it will be a very different video with loads of new things that you've never seen before. And probably, or depending on how long the crochet blanket along goes, that might even be finished. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Comment below if you want to chat, and maybe I'll see you in October. Okay, take care. Bye.